Alright, the discussion is on A Star is Born, starring Judy Garland and James Mason. And I had no idea that I had watched this like 4 times this year. Probably more. I have to get glue and you check into movies and TV stuff. But yeah, I've seen it more than that though in my lifetime. But I'm going to do the discussion because, I have a plan to watch all three of these. I've seen the original one now. I have seen the Judy Garland one a lot. And I still have to see the Barbra Streisand one. So when I see the Barbra Streisand one, I'm probably going to do compare and contrast of all three of them. So, yes. But I know without a doubt in my mind that Judy's will always be my favorite of the three. Always. Um, it's like her movie. Like, they couldn't have picked a better person to do this movie. They really couldn't. She was just the perfect person for it. This was her downfall. This was during her downfall. And she did such an amazing job with this. Like, you don't see any of the struggle that she was going through in her life. She was that much of a professional person. This was her last film at, I think it was MGM. That was her last film for the studio. And then after this, she did to another studio, and she did like there was A Child Is Waiting, and then there was I Could Go On Singing at the end of her career, but lived a different life at also. But Star Is Born was the last one for MGM, so okay. But it's just such a good movie. This was her downfall period. And she would show up late, she wouldn't rehearse, she was a mess, a huge mess. But everybody said that when she did her job, she was on it, no matter what. She knew how to act, and she knew how to sing, and she knew how to dance, and she really didn't need a lot of practice at it. And a lot of people were really worried for working with her, but then at the end of it all, they were like, she was the most professional person I've ever worked with. So, she worked that out around her issues, I guess. The scene where she's in the makeup room with the head of the studio, Oliver, and she's talking about the effects of an addict on those that they love. And that is as real of a scene as you could ever get, because Judy was that person. She was that person that was struggling with abuse, substance abuse, and depression, and her family was suffering for it. And that scene, as much as it was part of that movie, I feel like when she's saying it, it's not about Norman Maine, it's about Judy Garland. And so that whole scene is just so damn real and so raw, and I love that scene because it's just like her acting at her finest. Like, that scene should have had, let alone should have gotten her an Oscar, because it was just, there was such a real moment, and she just breaks down in that room, and she says love isn't enough for Norman to turn his life around. And the thing with Judy is it wasn't enough for her either. She hurt a lot of the people that she loved, what she was doing too. So In a way, she was Norman Maine. That was who she was. She was the person that was up on her game, and then her career slowly started getting worse. Not because no one wanted her, it's because Hollywood just completely broke her down. Completely took her spirits away from her. She loved to sing. She loved to dance. She loved to perform. That was the thing that made her really happy. Hollywood never forced that on her. She loved to sing and she loved to dance and didn't love acting, but she loved singing and dancing. That was what she loved the most. Hollywood just came in and sucked the life out of her. So when you see her performing and you see her happy on stage, that was real. The only time she wasn't pretending to be happy was on stage, because she was happy up there. So this movie is just, it was meant for her. Like I've said, it was just meant for her, because she knows exactly what it meant to be Norman Maine. She knew what that was, and she was that. And there's really little struggle in this movie. Every scene is perfect. All the songs are perfect. Man That Got Away, one of my favorite songs of all time. It's just, and you don't see the drugs problem. You don't see the depression. You don't see all the stuff she was going through. That's a professional. That's a professional person. And you don't have that now. Like, we have so many druggies and so many people who need help, but they don't show that much professionalism as she did. So, yeah. That is all for this, and one more video. So, goodbye.